What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. And guys, I need you to do me a favor right off the top. I want you guys to take your little finger or your pinky, whatever, your thumb, and I want you to hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. So I feel the love up in here. Can you feel it, brother? Amen. Can I get a amen? Hit the like button. And also, if you are so inclined, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and make sure you remain subscribed, because a lot of people tell me that you don't get notifications for my videos at all. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to help out the channel, you can do these simple things. You can hit the like button and you can hit the subscribe, and make sure that you hit the notification for all. Okay. And if you really love me, if you really care, if you really give a damn, then maybe you might consider hitting that super thanks feature in each and every one of my videos, because YouTube is not going to pay a brother because they decided that I'm just not the one. But anyway, guys, I do appreciate you being here. I really do. And I want to ask you guys a question. All right. How many people out there remember Batman, the TV show from the 60s? Okay. Now, I'm not asking if you were born then, because, you know, people like to come out. I wasn't even born then. I'm young. You're old. I don't know what that is. My first Batman was Christopher Nolan. No, because the show actually still plays and repeats on TV. Maybe some 15-year-old might have caught it, okay? I'm asking you, if you've seen the Batman show from the 60s, what did you think of it? Because we have a little yank-off session between our boy Zack Snyder and Frank Miller about what they made of the Batman show from the 60s starring Adam West and Burt Ward. All right, shout out to them. Now, it seems that Zack Snyder and Frank Miller believe that the Adam West 1960s Batman series is something to be ashamed of. They believe that it wasn't a good look for the character of Batman. Now, looking back, they're saying that it was degrading to the character of Batman and probably shouldn't have been made. I don't know, you know, but what I'm trying to get to with you guys, like with us, the actual fans, is how did we feel about the 1960s Batman? If you're familiar with it, okay, let's get into some of what they were saying. Now, I'm going to read a little bit off of fandomwire.com, and I'll start with the headline here. It says, "They were making the man an idiot." This is in quotes. They were making the man an idiot. Both Zack Snyder and Frank Miller know how the Adam West show damaged the reputation of Batman. Frank Miller and Zack Snyder reject Adam West's reductive take on Batman that demoted the Caped Crusader to an idiotic man on a mission. Oh my God! You see, no, I'm not going to get into this yet, all right? But Adam West as Batman, and this is the reason why I don't like to see when people talk about who your favorite Batman is, no matter what you think, all right, everyone's got their own opinion. But what I don't appreciate is how, in a lot of examples, Adam West is left out of that conversation. You know what I mean? Adam West was a very important Batman, even though the show was campy. But what the hell? It was the 60s. Everything was campy back then. But let's scroll down here, because I'm not going to read the whole thing, and just get into what these self-important dudes had to say as they yanked each other off. Okay, so it says here, let's see. I'm going to start. "There is no telling how frenzied a fandom surrounding a pop culture figure can get when their protagonist gets disintegrated in front of their very eyes. In the days of Adam West's television series, Batman was luckily spared the kind of elitism that Christopher Nolan brought to the table. The Oscar-winning director radically revolutionized and reshaped Batman to be the most notorious superhero that can ever exist in the comic book world, along with a Joker who was unquestionably the most maniacal psychopath to walk the earth." All right, shout out to Heath Ledger. "With Nolan, Batman found a second coming in a new golden age of comic book superheroes." I think they're giving him a little bit too much credit, but I'll make that point in a minute. However, when placing Nolan and Zack Snyder's adaptations parallel to Adam West's TV show version of the Billionaire Avenger, it is almost laughable how cruelly the 60s ridiculed the concept of Batman. West's hero was a man out of his depths, the butt of the joke that underlies every Batman comic. Every Batman comic. And in Frank Miller's own words, the TV show was constantly telling you how stupid the comic book character was. It was no argument that the camp classic has a devoted fan base of its own, but compared to what the modern audience values in Christian Bale's take on the superhero, Adam West has certainly alienated the DC fandom with his ridiculous, goofy joke of a man. What the actual F, bro? Like, why would you disrespect that show, everybody in that show, Adam West, Burt Ward, Cesar Romero, Lee Merriweather, who else was it? Eartha Kitt, you know what I mean? Burgess Meredith. I mean, all of these people, they brought their A game to that show, right? And you want to boil it down to his ridiculous and goofy joke of a man. Bro, why? Zack Snyder and Frank Miller share their concerns. Let's see. It is hardly justifiable to argue with the genius behind such classic comic book issues as Daredevil and The Dark Knight Returns, but Frank Miller not only changed the perception of Batman from a silly version to a grittier, more realistic one filled with violence and emotional abuse, but also proved that the nocturnal do-gooder has substance and his story could be equated to a tragedy worthy of Greek epics. Zack Snyder followed in his visionary footsteps to bring the big screen a darker, more mature version of the Justice League superheroes, attempting to redeem DC from its Batman and Robin mishap in the infamous fiasco of the nippled Batsuit era. Yeah, that was a little bit too much, but that had nothing to do with Adam West. Okay, but I'll make a point about this in a minute. Critiquing the 1966 adaptation, Frank Miller revealed during an interview for Inverse, the notorious old TV show, the one with Adam West and Burt Ward, I mean, that was a goof. It was basically a snide take on the stuff I remember that I absolutely loved. I loved the comic book characters, and the TV show was constantly telling you how stupid the comic book was. Snyder added, and for some reason they have Snyder's words in black, so you can barely see it here. Snyder says, yeah, because it was counterculture against authority, and they sort of saw Batman as the man. And so I just felt like they were making the man out to be a sort of an idiot. Okay, so in Miller's opinion, this guy is no joke. All right, let me just say this, all right? Because what this article and what these guys, all right, Frank Miller and Zack Snyder seem to forget. And I enjoyed both of their works, guys. I remember when I read Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, that was a game changer. I loved it. It was a great read. To this day, I can still pick it up and read it. It was gritty and it was deep and I loved it, right? Excuse me, the same thing with Zack Snyder. I was looking forward to Batfleck. I really was. I feel cheated that we didn't get that, right? But what I feel like they're they're overlooking is there's context here, all right? What Adam West's Batman did was it brought Batman to live action in the most pronounced way to date. Now, I think there was a couple of iterations of Batman before that, but it was the Adam West one that broke through. It was the Adam West one that had the merchandising involved. That, like, the bat signal was a thing before the 84 movie with Michael Keaton. You know what I'm saying? And I remember as a kid, I went to a comic book convention. My parents took me there, and Adam West was there, and Burt Ward was there, and they were dressed as Batman and Robin, and they were in character, and they were like the greatest guys, man. They were the greatest guys. I remember my family, they had it on a home movie, back then, and I really, really cherished that time, with my brother. It was the most exciting thing ever. I had Batman, the action figure, or let's face it, it was a doll back then, and he had Robin, and it was, you can't overlook the context of it all. You know what I mean? It's like you had to have that step in order to get to the next step. And as I said before, what I really loved about the Adam West version of Batman is there was room for everybody there. Like you had like a great Joker, you had a great Catwoman, you had a great Penguin, what was it, Mr. Freeze, Dr. Freeze, whatever it was. You had all of it. You had everybody. You had Batgirl. And as I said before, the mere fact that they were the dynamic duo, you had Robin there, Batman and Robin. That's a very tricky thing to pull off. And I really, really respected Burt Ward's take on Robin, Like, it was fun. And as a kid, okay, maybe they were making fun of it, more so, more than he was comfortable with. But as a kid, I took it very seriously. It was right where I needed to be when I watched this in repeats, by the way. Okay, I wasn't old enough either. I wasn't born yet when that show was out. But we picked it up in New York, I think, like in reruns on Channel 5 or something like that, right? Same bat time, same bat channel. And I always used to think to myself, oh my God, are they going to make it? Like, I took it seriously, right? So the dark, gritty Batman that came out later, that came when we were like older. You know what I mean? Like, I know that Batman had its roots and its origins in darkness and everything. It was a much more grittier story before the Adam West show. But as I said before, taking it all in context, that's what it had to be, especially in the 60s, So I have a special place in my heart for the 1960s Batman and Adam West and Burt Ward. And as I said, all of the colorful characters that were there, and how when they went to the bad guy's place, it was always like crooked, it was always slanted. I love that, man. So I really don't appreciate these self-important dudes coming out later talking about it was an insult and my dark version, we're the ones that matter, we're the ones that everyone should love, this is true art, this is cinema. It's like, shut the fuck up. I cannot stand this tendency that people have to justify what they're doing by bashing what came before. Did it ever occur to you, Frank Miller, that your disdain for this show made it possible for you to do what you did, even if you weren't paying homage to it? The mere fact that you were inspired to do what you did, you owe something to that like corny version of Batman, because it inspired you to do what you did, which inspired Zack Snyder to do what he did, with his slow motion using ass, But that's where we are, guys. I appreciate all of it. I collected like hundreds of Batman comics, and I watched Batman in everything, not just the 1960s Batman, but also I watched the Batman from the Super Friends. You know what I mean? I watched Batman on Scooby-Doo. Look, if you love the character, you go through all of those iterations with the character, right? When they had Death in the Family, that blew my mind even before. I think, was that before Return of the Dark Knight? Death in the Family, when Joker bludgeoned, was it Jason Todd? That was crazy, man. But I'm just saying. And then, from there to the breaking of the Batman, from there to Batman the Animated Series. You know what I mean? It's like, if you love the character, you love every version, or at least you respect every version of the character, right? So, yeah, it just kind of took me aback, when I saw these guys talking about it. Like, I don't think that the Adam West Batman damaged the character. I don't think that it was a terrible thing, guys, but that's just my opinion. You guys who might be Batman fans or something like that, you can get in the comment section and let me know. Number one, let me know, who was your favorite Batman? Was it Adam West? Was it Michael Keaton? Was it Val Kilmer? I love Val Kilmer, but I don't know how many votes he's going to get on that. Was it George Clooney? Was it Christian Bale? God help us, was it Robert Pattinson? Ben Affleck? It's like, just let me know. Or, of course, Kevin Conroy. You can't leave that out. You see what I'm talking about, guys? Get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about what they're talking about here. Should the 1960s Adam West Batman be stricken from the record, never to be mentioned again? Let me know. As always, like, share, subscribe. If you want to contribute to the channel, as I said before, hit that super thanks. There's a Cash App. Like, help me out, guys. Thanks again, and I will catch you on the next one. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.